Welcome to the Clashing of Steel. And my topic is downside of offense. Don't get me wrong, offense is always an option, preferably best used with teamwork and players who can support each other, or know how to support each other. Worst form of offense is going in alone mindlessly deep into enemy territory and pushing far away from your team, creating a situation where you will be outmatched easily. There can be some exceptions for units like horsemen who are very agile and mobile, but swordsmen, spearmen, archers, everything like that going deep into enemy territory alone is pretty much the worst decision. In this match you will see some extreme offense from the opposing team. They have narrowed all of their troops into the middle, and I think they have actually wasted time not going offensive, letting my catapults and archers hit their units. This type of a force from a narrow direction can work, but it requires you to be somewhat aggressive, to try and force opponents to run. Half of their units will pretty much meet in the middle and start pushing through soon. And as usual, someone somewhere is always AFK. I don't know how or why, but it seems to happen every match, or at least every second match. Okay, back to the middle. What opponents also need to do here is that they need to use their numbers against us. They have more melee units. They can easily outmatch these units in the open, but they could not match them in the bottleneck. So this is the problem when you're forcing all of your units in from one direction. If your opponents just use a bottleneck to fight against, let's say, 3 players with 2 units, they can easily hold them there for quite a while. And this type of offense also affects your catapult. If your catapult is not effectively following you, he might not be in range to help you finish off the bottleneck or whatever is coming, or wherever you are pushing. Well, this is what happens when you don't defend your ranged units. Okay, so this is pretty much extreme offense. Sending in huge amount of troops, massing them in and pushing them in from a single direction, pretty much, or single area. That is not something that is suggested, because they're all in the middle. They do have the elephants and the horsemen roaming around, but they don't exactly have anything directly covering their sides. Basically, we could just go around them and go for the cap. Another way their extreme offense could have worked would have been if they would have pushed onto me, or onto the catapults. That way they could have kept their elephants alive and used them properly in engagements. But it already tells you a lot if you're fighting against an elephant player who just wants to fight melee infantry alone. And I do love how the catapults work against these beasts. But well, this guy realized too late the real threat. If they would have gone for me straight, they might have actually had a chance to turn this battle around easily. There indeed are a lot of them, and as it appears, some of our friends have gone a bit too offensive. We could have used them at defense, but okay, that is not important. Well, these elephants are pretty much done for. They are quite easy to finish off. But now back to the extreme offense. Their main tactic has been forcing pretty much all the units in the same direction to the same place, which is our base, or towards our base. As I said, extreme offense can work, but since you're pushing all of your resources in single direction into single area, we can easily surround them. Extreme offense could work as a form of tactics. They push deep at first and then they spread. Not directly spreading all of your units, but spreading into 2 groups. Let's say one pushes head on, while the other one tries to flank or take out some priority target or help some side. Because right now what is mostly happening is that the elephants, they are ignoring these swordsmen here. They're ignoring the spearmen and swordsmen fighting. They could have easily supported them there. I would have not been able to hit them because there would have been a cliff between us. And after they would have been done, they could have easily gone after me and pretty much forced me to run or destroy me. It is something similar you see in low tier matches. Players just go straight on in, hoping to be a hero just by pushing deep in and hammering everything. Only exception being that in this fight, most of their team was like that. The first part where they pushed wasn't that bad. It was actually great when they forced us to run. It was incredible. Our men were so disoriented, they were so overwhelmed by the opposing numbers. But because they pushed all of their units into this single area and then used it to push till the very end, they lost the sides, which they could have used to take me down or dominate me, force me to disengage, anything like that. They could have used the other side to go for the base cap or just force us to react to the base capping. But what they actually did was something like playing Germanicus in a team scale, basically. Going head on in and hoping for that struggle match. Extreme offense is usually something that is done when your whole team goes offensive, and this is basically what happened. But what they did was very narrow-minded. At a certain point you need to spread. You need to react to the different threats. There are several forms of offense and defense that can work. Like setting two of your areas or two of your sides to be defensive and going through the middle with a breakthrough. As they're defending, they don't need that many men, they just need to seal off the main bottlenecks. And after the breakthrough is accomplished, they can easily rush to defense of the sides that were already defensive. Another thing that my opponents suffered here in this match in the middle was that they didn't have someone to engage these disengaging opponents, like cavalry, war dogs, or even Volksmen. What I also want to say is that defense might not always outweigh the offense. Some units and tactics can counter others. The worst type of offense is this narrow-minded going straight on and pushing deep and not spreading. Basically acting like war dogs. You're going straight on in after the first target you saw and you will follow him till the very last breath. They actually had a lot of chances to turn this battle around. The worst downside for the opposing team were the elephant players. They did not act accordingly, they did not evaluate threats, and they did not support where they should have. At those key moments they could have turned this battle around. Even if they would have gone after me at the right time, at the right moment, they could have beaten me or forced me to run. Actually, even if one infantry player would have gone after me, I might have not been able to manage against them. I would have once again been forced to run, been forced to disengage, or act accordingly. They indeed had great chances, but they missed them all, and thanks to that, we got the upper hand. Another thing that would have given them success was the catapult. Their catapult was stationary under the watchtower. And that type of defense or defensive location does not work well for the team who goes very offensive. In this match there were many missed opportunities, tactical locations and misplacements. But okay, enough about the offense. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. As a catapult player I managed to kill pretty much all the elephants and I got a decent score of slightly under 4,000 points. I'm guessing that most of my targets were the elephants, although I hit the infantry a couple of times as well. Even these elephant players together did not match my score. They were rather naive or short-sighted. The opponent's catapult managed to be the best in their team. He was able to do enough offense against the swordsmen, support his friends and try to take down everything that was thrown at them. In my team, Miltiades and Germanicus players were the best. They were the ones defending and managed to hold off huge amount of opponents. They were pretty much outnumbered at certain points. They could have easily been killed if opposing elephants would have supported there and then. And of course my team's best Germanicus player is the one who went against AFK opponent. So this is pretty much it. The match was actually rather hard because they did have the advantage at first, but they missed their opportunities and everything went sideways. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.